Hi, I'm Louisa Sijabat, a liquidator and bankruptcy trustee. So, Jobkeeper is ending on the 28th of March 2021. That's a little under 2 months away. If your business is still on Jobkeeper, or if you have clients whose businesses are still on Jobkeeper, what should they be doing now to prepare for that end of Jobkeeper, because it isn't very far away? Here are my recommendations. Firstly, have a look at if they think they're going to survive. So what this will involve is some budgeting and some cash flow planning. It involves looking at sales to see how they can increase them, and if they think they're going to be enough to cover the expenses, both the fixed and the variable expenses of the business. Also, look at the expenses of the business. Can they be reduced? Although by this stage, most business owners have reduced every expense they can possibly reduce. What are the variable expenses, and is there a way to make that a lower portion of sales, all while being legal? We don't want to be underpaying anybody or anything like that. Also, don't forget to factor in tax, because the ATO will start pursuing unpaid tax and has already started pursuing unpaid tax, so you don't want to fall foul of that. Also, are there any payment plans that can be negotiated? A lot of business owners have already tried this, but if your business or if the business you're advising hasn't, make sure that they remember that as a point as well. Also, one other option is this business perhaps a business that could be marketed for sale? Could it go well and be more profitable joined with someone else's business? That could either be somebody up or down the supply chain, or it could be a competitor, or it could be new people wanting to enter the market, but they don't want to set up a business from scratch. Also, one other option to consider is, should the business be borrowing to get them through a lean period if they think they are likely to be able to repay it in the future? Now, something to be careful about with borrowings is you don't want to overload the business with borrowings that it has no chance of repaying. That's not good for your director's duties, because you'd probably be in breach of your director's duties if you didn't think the business could reasonably repay it. And it's also not good for the company to load it up with all this debt with no foreseeable way to repay it. Also, should the business be considering some sort of restructure, whether that's an informal restructure or formal restructure? If you think that's something worth exploring, I've done a separate video on what informal and formal restructurings are and what those things can include. Also, one of the other things to consider, especially if it's a mid or larger size business, is during that restructuring process, should the business be considering a safe harbour protection for its directors to give the directors effectively some sort of insurance against any future potential insolvent trading claim should the restructuring not work out and should the company end up in liquidation. Lastly, if there's no other options, then it is time to investigate a liquidation or voluntary administration of the company. Now, what I do recommend is taking your time, or as much time as is available to the company, to find a good liquidator, because this can either make your life very miserable or it can actually relieve a lot of pressure on you. So this is actually very crucial to get right. Now, what I do recommend is thinking about your plan and what you're going to do after the end of Jobkeeper at this stage. Why do I say that? Because certain options will take time to investigate and implement. For example, if your business is looking to borrow more money, loans are generally not instant. And the ones that are instant tend to be at a higher interest rate. So you do want to have that time up your sleeve to look around or have a broker look around for you. And that does take time, and it can take a few weeks. So, in order to cause yourself less stress or your clients less stress, have a think now, if your company is still on Jobkeeper or if your business is still on Jobkeeper, what you're going to do, if you're likely to survive and how you plan to do that, and if you're not, what actions can you take to walk the next period in the best possible way.